let's talk a little bit about the proper anchoring techniques. Before you anchor, the first thing you need to know is what's the current doing or what's the wind doing and which one is stronger. In this situation today, we have very little wind, but look at the current ripping off of that marker right there. It's a couple of knots. That means we're going to drift back here like a flag when we drop our anchor. So the first thing you want to do is determine the direction of the current or the wind, figure out which one is stronger. So what you want to do is get into the position where you ultimately want to wind up at, and then proceed forward into the current. The next thing you've got to figure out is how much chain and line you're going to let out. Usually you want to let out from 5 to 10 times the water's depth. 7 is about average. So it's about 7 feet deep here. We want to let out about 50 feet. You want to stop the boat and be slightly backing up on it. You do not want to run over your own anchor line. Okay, once the anchor's down and you think you've got a bite, you've got some tension here on the anchor line, the next thing you want to do is put the boat slightly in reverse to make sure you're not dragging the anchor. The best way to check and make sure you're stationary is to pick a couple of marks on shore. For example, I see a sailboat mast lined up with a telephone pole, and I want to make sure the bearing between those two poles doesn't change. If it stays fixed like that, we're set. Okay, now once the anchor's down and set, you want to get the tension off of your electric windlass, take a turn, do your normal cleat as usual. Now what happens if it turns out that your anchor actually is dragging? Well, the first thing you want to do, the easiest thing to do, is just let out more line. The shallower the angle of the line to the bottom, the better bite that anchor is going to have. So if you've got the room behind you, and check that, just let out some more line. If that doesn't work, you may have to go motor all the way forward, pick up the anchor, and try it again. When it's time to go and you need to retrieve the anchor, here's the proper technique. If you've got an electric windlass, what you don't want to do is just turn it on and use the windlass to pull the boat forward. That puts too much load on the windlass. What you do want to do is take the wrap off the cleat, go forward slow with the engines, and at the same time, press your anchor up button. Finally, before you really get underway, you want to have some sort of anchor stopper or chain right here, so there's no way this can come loose if the windlass releases.